Hi, come on in.
And join in. It's the Very Merry Life. Hi, I'm Mary Hendricks, and you might know me as that relatable AF Mama over on Instagram who hopefully feels like an old friend at this point. And if not, it won't be long till it feels that way as we get raw, unfiltered, and very unapologetic in all things motherhood, marriage, sex, and more. From moments worth savoring to moments worth surviving, get ready to leave feeling seen and supported. You have a friend here now, so hey, take a seat. What's going on? Hi, guys. I'm so excited. Okay, so before we kick off, if you saw the title of the name, we have Katie's Corner. And this is an idea of mine with our friend Katie Costa here, who has been on multiple episodes at this point. And I think we're going to make this a monthly thing right now to start off just because we vibe. We vibe, and you guys love her, and I listen to that, and we're going to have Katie come on, and we're going to just chat because her and I get along well, and it's going to be a good time.
We are like-minded in the fact that we're dirty as fuck and funny as fuck. So
I know.
It works.
I know.
I really do feel like when I talk and chat with you that we've known each other forever. Like, I really feel that way. It's kind of crazy.
Isn't it weird? Social media is fun that way, that like I enjoy it because I get to actually show myself exactly as I am.
Yeah.
And meet like-minded people. It's kind of like dating a little bit. It's kind of like a dating app.
It's like a modern day pen pal, you know?
Yeah. Not everyone's going to be my type of... No, I tried in like with my cousin. I remember with my cousin, we tried getting a pen pal and we would like send letters back and forth. And I told Cassidy that she should do that with her cousin, my brother's daughter, but they're too little. So one day.
I know, like they really don't. Like I'd even tell my, babysitters, and they're like pen pal, like actual letters. Like, yeah, when we used to fucking write letters to each other. It's kind of, we are really aging ourselves right now. But age is just a number.
Age is just a number.
We both have our wine. Mary just told me she was 2 glasses in. I am just rearing up, baby. Okay, I'm wetting the whistle.
Yeah. You have to catch up a little bit here. I told myself I wasn't going to drink wine. I tell myself that every night, and that sounds terrible. I don't have a problem. Let's just put that out there. I enjoy 1 or 2 glasses. That is my max, just because I know what's coming. But we're having a snow day tomorrow, which means I got to get amped up because I have the kids. And Kev, thankfully, I think will be home. But
oh my God, snow days. I kind of miss snow days. We don't get those anymore in Florida. Well, in Florida, I don't get them anymore because I live in Florida, but we get hurricane days, which are a little scarier, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah. That's the one perk about living in New Jersey is really the only thing I have to worry about is snow.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, we don't really get a lot because your parents are in New York, but we don't get a lot. We don't have like earthquakes or any of like the... Yeah, tornadoes. I know there's tornadoes in New Jersey, but they've never done like damage like how it is in like Oklahoma or anything like that. But
thank God.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here's something that we can kick off with. So yesterday, you'd enjoy this. I woke up because the baby woke me up super duper early, and the first thought, and you have to tell me if you've ever thought this way. The first thought in my head was, wouldn't it be nice if I fell down the stairs and broke my femur so I could buy myself a few days in the hospital,
Mary,
by myself?
Yes. Like I've literally wanted to, like I had strep throat like 2 months ago, which by the way, guys, if you've ever had adult strep throat, just like put me out of my misery next time.
I remember that. I remember that on insurance. And you have like a really high fever and stuff.
It was like 104 fever.
Oh my God.
Husband, Bird, Keith, if you follow me, we call him Bird. He took overtime that day because he's a firefighter. And he was like, I'm not coming home. Like, take some Tylenol. And it would have been the perfect excuse, right, to lay in bed. But I had to like deal with 3 children and I was sick as shit. But I really dream about like when you want to call out of work sick, like, as a mother, like we should be able to have like personal days like that, like, hey, I'm going to tap out. I'm tapping you in for the day. I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, it's like
I want to take a person. Yeah. I want to take like a day where I can just like catch up on sleep. But you know what the fucked up part is that if I took that, I still would be thinking about the kids and I probably would not be relaxed
At all.
No, because our brains don't shut off. I just did stories about this the other day. Like, my brain doesn't know how to stop thinking, right?
No.
Like, I feel like the only time I'm probably restfully like at peace is like when I'm in REM for like 15 minutes during the night, because my brain, like, I have major anxiety like all the time, but our brains never stop. Our brains never stop. So like, I was just talking about this. Like, I don't have a lot of help down here. I have my in-laws, and they're great, but they're not like, it's not like my parents, and I'm raising 3 children essentially alone in some ways, because I'm not going to, bark up my mother-in-law's tree and be like, hey, can you watch the kids every weekend? But she would. And that's another thing. Like, do you have a hard time asking for help? Because I do. Like, my mother-in-law's like, why didn't you ask me like to come, like that day when I had strep throat? She's like, why wouldn't you call me? And I'm like, well, I didn't want to bother you or get you sick. She's like, I don't care. It's hard to ask for help, because sometimes, I feel like why bother anyone else with my problems?
That's how I'm that way. Well, one, I wouldn't ask my mother-in-law. I wouldn't ask her. One day
we'll have to unpack that one day with therapy.
We'll have to unpack that one day when I know there's a way that she wouldn't listen. Love you if you are.
Oh my God.
But I wouldn't ask her because she is older. The kids just it just wouldn't work. My mom is probably the closest help that I have. Yeah. I struggle asking her. She would come over in a heartbeat depending on what it is. I struggle asking my mom because I've been this way since forever. I've always been this way with my parents. For some reason, I really want to do it on my own. I've always wanted to do it on my own. And for some reason, I have this like thing that I want to prove to my parents. And I know that like I was immediately the first kid, like when we started like, going off and flying the coop and stuff like that. I was like the first kid to get off their cell phone bill and like things like that. Like I just immediately wanted to not cut ties in like a nasty way. Like I wanted to do it so I can be like, hey, I'm doing it myself. And there's probably shit I can unpack with my therapist at one point, but it's like, I just,
where are you in your lot? You're the oldest?
No, I'm middle.
Okay. Middle. So Mary, hello. I'm also a middle child.
Yeah.
And it's something about us middle children. It's like, we got this.
Yeah.
Like, we got this. I was the first one to move away. Like, I left my small town, which is not so far from New York City, but like I moved into Manhattan. I was like I was kind of like, like spearheaded a lot of things, like a little bit of a rebel. Got my tattoos. None of my other siblings have tattoos.
Wait, where do you have a tattoo?
Oh, I have them all over. You just can't really see them.
Where are they?
Because I had to hide them from my fucking parents.
Do they know about them now?
Oh, yes. My dad is, he has his opinions about it. He's like, the only people that should have tattoos are pirates and motorcyclists. I'm like, all right, Dad, like, relax. And he's like, oh, you're the temple of the Holy Spirit. Oh, you're gonna, yeah. I'm like, all right, relax. It's fucking ink in the skin, and they're very tasteful tattoos. Like, like I have this here. There's so many, but none of my other siblings did that. Like, I'm just like I've always beaten by my own drum, always. And I don't know if that is a middle child trait.
Yeah.
But I do believe that, birth order has a lot to do with it. And I don't have like really bad middle child syndrome to the point where like my parents didn't love me or pay attention to me. My older brother was like the only boy. And he's the boy. And then I had a younger sister who was batshit crazy and like fun as hell, but like spicy, right? Like really like gave my mother and father a run for their money. Still does. Like she's 37. She's, still pulling her antics. Trish, if you're watching, I love you. But like I've always been like scooted by, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to give any more trouble. Like I'm good.
That was me. Yeah, that was me. I literally flew under the radar. I got away with so much shit. Same. Because no one was paying attention because they were paying attention to my brother, who was, again, the only boy.
Yeah.
And then you had my younger sister.
Oh, so you literally have the same dynamic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, like, it was like my brother really could do no wrong. Also, he got away with murder because 1, he was the oldest, and 2, he was a male, which is, we'll do another podcast about that, gender stuff with that. But yeah, like I always kind of just was kind of like, oh, I'm going to do my own thing. Moved into New York City, moved in with a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Before anyone was living with their like significant others, like that was like a big no in my family. Like, oh my God, sex before marriage. Like give me a break. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And now I'm, really doing it on my own. And there are days, I'll be honest, like if anyone's listening, if you don't follow me, you can follow me at Mommy Needs More Wine.
You need to follow her because she cracks my shit up. Your stories are the best thing ever. There aren't many people I look forward to watching on Instagram.
Yeah.
You're one of them because you do very well. This is totally a sidetrack conversation, but you do very well.
Thank you.
On Instagram. She really does. And I envy that because you're not posting reels all the time.
No.
You post them here and there. Yeah. But stories is where it's fucking at.
Well, you were the one that was like, your stories are your meat and potatoes, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And the reels are just like, that's what grabs people and brings them to your page. I've always wanted to be a comedian. That was like a dream of mine. And obviously here I am. I am a comedian. You know what? I'm going to own that shit.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, who's to say exactly what a comedian is? It's just whatever it is, whatever we want it to be.
Exactly. I don't even know how did we get, what were we talking about before that?
I don't know. Asking for help. And then we've gotten to
the followers would be like, what's going on here? Listen.
No, you know what? This is what the conversations are going to be like. Wine and just a bunch of shenanigans.
Yeah, just pull up a seat, ladies or gentlemen, whoever's listening. And, just know that Mary and I are like, do you answer all your followers? I answer everyone that messages me, almost pretty much.
Oh God, I wish. I used to.
You're at 100. Yeah, you're at 100,000.
110. So fuck that. I can't anymore. I actually feel really bad about it because I used to be really good.
Yeah.
About answering followers as much as I could. Like I used to sit down at night and respond to every single person. And I would refresh to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Cause I was I never want anyone to message me and then think that I am I've heard people say this before in my messages saying thank you so much for responding. It's nice to see that you're not another influencer who just doesn't give a shit. Yeah. And because of that, I think I feel really bad because there are people that I cannot even, I have 30 message requests that are unread. Yes. That's on top of the message requests that I haven't even gotten to yet. Yes. And I know that they are probably in the thousands at this point. And that sounds like I literally can't get to all of them. I try my best. I don't have anyone managing my Instagram. Maybe that would be different. Yeah. But I don't want anyone managing it.
It's for sure a full-time job to message people back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's usually the first, it's all about timing for me because I try to not be on my phone.
Yep.
All the time in front of the kids. So it's within the first 10 messages that I will see at whatever time I'm getting to, and I'll get through those. And then I'll go a little bit into my inbox request or the message request, and then I'll cover that, and then I'll get out because do what I can.
We'll be back after a quick break. Eye-Opening Moments Podcast are real-life stories of adversity, encounters, and perspectives. They are moments that can lift your spirits, give you some food for thought, or move you. For the introspective mind that likes to reflect, discover, and find solutions or meaning in a complex life, listen to Eye-Opening Moments Podcasts.
That's all. It's still, listen, 110,000 followers, Mary, that's wild. I'm getting closer to 30,000, which is crazy. But how wonderful that we are able to have these platforms to really help women not feel so alone in many things, not just motherhood, but marriage, children. There's so many things. I was talking to a follower the other day. She sent me this amazing message. It actually made me tear up. And she was like, I wish there was something like this when I was raising my children.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I resonate with everything you're saying, but my children now are adults. And she's like, you are doing such good work. You are helping so many women. You're so relatable. Everything you're doing and saying is real, raw motherhood. And I know that you're doing the same thing. Like I think, and I'm sure you get these questions like, how did you get started? How did you gain your following? I think it's authenticity. You know, like, I'm not coming on here and saying, here's my pristine home or here's my perfect children. Like, neither one of us are doing that. We're being 110% honest about our struggles in many things, kids, marriage, life. It's almost like imposter syndrome some days. Like, what am I doing with these kids? Whose kids are these? Like, do you ever feel like that? Like, whose fucking kids are these?
Oh yeah. Well, especially it's like imposter syndrome essentially is like comparison. It's all it is. It's just comparison in a different name. But yeah, because I look at my kids and like today was literally right before I came downstairs, today was a day where you look at your kids and I'm so proud of them. You have those days. Do you ever have those days where you're like, I'm sure you do. Every parent does, where you have those days and you're like, oh my God, like I just am so proud as to what is happening here. And then there are other days where I'm like, fuck is happening here? Like, what is going on? Like, oh my shit, they're gonna be fucked when they get older. What the hell?
Both Bird and I like both screamed at the kids, and I was like, what is wrong with us? But then my husband was like, what is wrong with them? And it's true. Like, no one's perfect. Everyone is flowing through life. And if you have children, you know what it's like. You will have those great days. Like, I want more of those great days.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I could change my mindset, I really, this year, I told myself, Katie, stop yelling so much. I came from a home where my mother is Italian. All she did was yell. It was like, what are you doing? What the fuck? Get the fuck out of my face. But there was always love. It wasn't never like, it wasn't trauma, like a traumatic childhood, but it was just like yelling. And I don't, now as an adult, like, we laugh about it, but I'm like, am I really fucking my kids up by like screaming at them?
No,
right?
No, you're not. You know what? I get so tired sometimes because I think social media is just playing in people's heads way too fucking much. I think we are overthinking this way too much. I think the biggest thing that we are doing different, and I think a lot of people are forgetting, is that we are taking ownership. Like, I, for one, I know this is a new one. So every time Spencer, so our bathroom door down in the kitchen, or like our, what is it, a half bath down in the kitchen. Every time they go to the bathroom, it makes a squeaky noise. The door makes like a like a whatever when it opens. And that might be due to the fact that the other day the kids were playing with the door. That is one of my biggest, I don't like to say triggers, but it's one of the things that like just sets me automatically off when they play with the door. I've always been that way, but more so I was that way because they did it 6 months ago and Spencer literally almost lost the tips of his fingers because of how bad the door slammed on his fingers. Yeah. So ever since, I've just been uber sensitive to them playing with it. And I walked over and they weren't stopping and I kicked the door open so they would stop. Yeah. And ever since then, now the door makes a squeaky noise. I'm not kidding. It's been a month. I didn't break the door. I didn't put a hole in it. Nothing looks off. So I don't really know why it's squeaking like that, but it makes this noise. And every time we open it and Spencer goes in, he goes, Mommy kicked the door. Mommy angry. And I'm like, okay, I did it once a month ago. You guys can let it go. And sometimes I get in my head and I'm like, oh God, you guys are going to remember this. But I've talked to him like immediately after that happened. I was like, guys, like, I'm so sorry I did that. Like, Mommy gets really frustrated sometimes. Like, Mommy just has a lot to do. And I'm trying to get this and you guys are acting psychotic. So just like chill out for a second. Help me out. Help me out here. Cause I'm trying to do it all for you. I'm trying to literally do it all.
I think what you just said, you apologize to them. Did your parents ever apologize to you when they yelled at you?
No, fuck that. No.
Listen, like I'll never bash my parents. Like I had two great parents, like very loving and doting, but they were hard, and they yelled a lot. Not so much my dad. My dad was a lover. Like he was like the good cop, bad cop. My dad was the good cop. My mom never apologized. And in a way, like I knew that when I got older, like I knew, all right, she's tired. Like, there's 3 of us. My dad was always working. But I will say, like, I do apologize to my kids when I have outbursts, because I feel like they need to know that it's not always them. Like I will, like you said, like mommy is tired, or I'll say, guys, I'm just so tired. I'm so sorry. You guys know I love you so much. Me yelling doesn't equate to me not loving you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll grab and not like hard, but I'll grab them and be like, stop. And today, like I kind of did a small pinch on the back of my oldest arm. He's almost 9, and he's a little bit of a pain in the ass. Like he's a rowdy boy, and he doesn't listen. So I had to obviously I'm trying very hard to be a gentle parent, which is much harder than it seems. Yeah. And I said 5 times, like, get your shoes on. Finally, I took him by the back of his arm and I was like, get your fucking shoes on. Mm-hmm. And then, it was just like in my head, I'm like, I have reason to do this because you're literally like, how many times please put your shoes on? Like, I mean,
at what point, I'm all for gentle parenting. I'm literally all for gentle parenting because I am a gentle parent. And again, I think per gentle parenting, we all think of permissive parenting.
Exactly.
And it's not that. I am a gentle person. I am a gentle parent. I have a lot of patience for my kids. Like I have more patience for my kids that I sometimes expect, like that I think I expected for myself.
Yeah.
It all depends on the day. And it all depends on what's going on with me. And a lot of times like that, like a lot of it boils down to me, but I try to show that to my kids because I'm working through shit as much as I can. And on days where it's a little bit harder for me to work through my shit, I want them to see that because at some point they're going to have to work through their shit. And whatever shit that might be it's not me. We're going to get blamed for everything. Let's just be honest.
Of course. I mean,
we're fucking moms. We give all the love. Let's be honest. We give all the love and we're going to be the ones who are going to get the shit at the end of the day. They're going to end up in the therapist's office and complain about us regardless of what we do.
You want just enough childhood drama to make them funny, right?
Funny. It's all I say. That's all I say. I literally just said this on a podcast episode the other day, and I said, I made a TikTok and I said, I never put it out there because I got nervous that people get all mad. But I said, exactly those with trauma. I said, what trauma happened in your life? Or those of you who think you're funny, what type of trauma happened in your life? Because I'm trying to gauge what needs to happen here, like in order to result in this. And I think it's in my draft still because I said, I'm too afraid that people are so triggered by the word trauma right now that they're going to jump on me and be like, how dare you joke about trauma? How dare you?
And honestly, I mean, it's so easy
exactly.
to listen to me and be this authoritarian type of figure, but they're children. And the only way they're going to learn is through us, which is also gives me anxiety because I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Am I a good mom? Or do they know how loved they are? Am I making good humans? Are they going to be good people? Am I raising assholes? That type of thought process happens to me every day. Yeah. Every single day. I'm like, am I raising good humans? And honestly, at the end of the day, yes, I am. Because I'm a good human and I just want them to know, one, they are loved. And that's really the most important thing. The only thing that we really should be concerned about is giving our children as much love as possible because it all stems from there. And if they know they're loved, and then of course we go with, okay, do the right thing, obviously. But there's a lot of kids and I know friends that they tell me my parents really never loved me. And I'm like, wait, what? Because that doesn't resonate with me because my parents, I always knew they loved me, even though they were hard on me sometimes or they yelled, I knew I was loved. And honestly, you seeing Cassidy like that, those are the moments you're doing the right thing. These kids are just kids. And, we're the parents, obviously, right? We have to mold and teach them, but it's a learning curve always. I mean,
I always think that too. And I think that sometimes when, especially I get in my head on stuff, I was like, what is the end goal?
Yeah.
What's the end goal? Like, are you trying to raise lawyers?
Yeah.
Are you trying to raise...
Right? Like there's a standard that people have, okay, we have, I want them to do something. Well, I even said the other day, like, if my children go to college and someone's like, what do you mean if? I'm like, college isn't for everyone,
No.
like, I don't know their path. What if they want to be an artist?
Mhm.
What if they want to do a trade? My husband and I both do trades, right? I'm an ultrasound technologist. He's a firefighter. The expectation, like, let's lower these expectations for our children in a way, not in a crass way where like, let them, be, crazy. No, but let's just meet our children where they're at and try to understand them more. And as life goes on, continue that type of thought process where, let's just be more mindful of their feelings. I don't know. I feel like my parents, it was more like, I'm the parent, do what I say. And I don't disagree with that, but like maybe a little bit of like a bend, bend a little bit, not too much, because then those kids are assholes.
No, I think it's just a mutual respect. It's to respect your kids for who they are as kids. Doesn't mean that they're getting away with shit. You just respect that they're kids and that they're going to act like kids, and you're going to kind of understand and be like, hey, I understand you're acting within your age range, but we're going to have to lock this shit down. Like, this isn't the time or place to be doing that. So I think that's like where the respect thing comes in, and it's just kind of teaching them how to act. We're shaping them. We're getting primed. We're building that up. I think that's the biggest thing, is like you're building up how to treat others. That's the biggest lesson that you're trying to teach them.
And it stems from, if you love yourself and you are confident with yourself, it is innate. You will treat others as you would want to be treated.
Yeah.
The children that are bullies, there's something empty in them. And that will play out in adulthood, because there's plenty of adult.
You know what it is? It's missing. I just listened to a podcast and I thought this woman said, and I forget her name, but she was in a very short few seconds, she said this. She tries to teach people confidence and joy in sex. But and she talked about sex and went on about that. But what she was teaching, and someone was saying, like, what do you mean confidence and joy? And she said, confidence is knowing your truth, whatever that truth might be today.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you're happy with it.
100%.
Joy. So confidence and joy means that you know your truth and you're going to celebrate it, regardless of what it is, and regardless of what you wish it would be.
Wow.
And I was like, I love that, because confidence is one thing.
Yeah.
To know exactly who you are with what you got is one thing. To have joy in what you have, in what you got at the moment you're presented it, regardless of what you think of it, is a huge other factor. And I was like, I love that. I was like, I'm going with that. Like, that's great.
My real concern, because I have 2 boys and a girl, right? And I was a boy mom for years until my little friend came along. And I never want to raise angry men. Because I think as females, we all have had throws with an angry male, whether it be a relationship, whether it be, just coworker, whatever. We've all encountered them. And I always psychoanalyze them. And I'm like, where did you not feel loved enough? So I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, you are so loved and you can cry as much as you want, I'm just one of those, but it's interesting.
Yeah, no, angry. Well, that's how I am with Spencer, because I'm like,
little fancy boy. He's so freaking cute.
He's so cute. And it's breaking my heart. The dentist, we went to the dentist last week, and the pediatric dentist told us that we have to start stopping him from sucking his thumb, and he still sucks his thumb. It is the cutest thing ever.
So cute.
I like Kevin's been working on it like a lot, where this past week I came upstairs. I was recording like a podcast, and I came upstairs and I could smell vinegar. And he was like, I dipped his thumb in vinegar. And I was like, Kev. And he was like, what? He won't make him suck his thumb. I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, oh. And Spencer came over and I held him and was rocking him back and forth. And I was like, oh. And I was like, I'm not ready for this, because I'm trying to wean Haley from breastfeeding.
It's a lot. This is a lot for you, Mary.
So I'm like, dude, I was like, Kev, can we chill out? Because I was like, now we're going to stop Spencer from sucking his thumb. And now I was like, that's a lot, man. I can't handle it. But like with Spencer and like talking about angry men stuff, like I want him to be he's a sweet little boy, but I also don't want it to be the flip side, because I think that's the alternative is we get so, from what I've been finding is men, I think we've been worrying about men so much that we've been doting on them so much.
Yeah.
I don't want to worry about him becoming this angry man that I do everything for him and then turn out to create a monster for my future daughter-in-law or son-in-law, whatever. I like to keep that open.
even you saying that statement is very broad and open of you. Like, I will say, my mother, like my husband's really great with a lot of things. And my mother-in-law's like, he had to do everything. The second he could reach something, he was doing it. Meaning the second he could reach the laundry button to do the laundry, he was doing it. He told me, like, when we first started dating, he's like, I've been doing my laundry since I'm 9-10 years old, which is great because fuck these, gender roles. Like, I could give a shit if, the laundry is piled up. Neither could my husband, but he'll do it for me.
Yeah,
like, same. Okay, I'll do it. Like, my dad never did fucking laundry ever.
Yeah.
Like, where's my socks? I have no clean underwear. It's like, I remember thinking as a child, like, why doesn't he just do his own fucking laundry? Yeah. So like the boys, when I do my laundry, I'm like, hey, I know, saw your story today. Same girl.
It's still sitting there. I haven't touched it. It's going to sit there probably until what day? Wednesday, Thursday.
It always gets done. I like a little challenge. Like, you know what? Hey. 20 loads of laundry in a day. Fuck it. I could do that. Fine.
Dude, listen to a podcast. That's what I do. Just listen to a podcast and then fold. It's great.
Yeah. Hopefully someone's listening to this podcast right now, folding their laundry.
Yeah. Well, or drinking drinking wine.
Cheers. Baby.
Cheers. Woo.
But it's, we all, I think what's so great about being in this generation is that we are open-minded mothers and we are pulling information and knowledge from other people. And honestly, I think that's so great because I don't feel like my mom had this army of women that was like really supporting her. Yes, she had my grandmother. Yes, she had her sisters. But like, I'm talking, sometimes getting like reaching beyond your family members is a good thing. Yeah. Because, my mom sometimes is a little bit like, oh, you're suck it up or whatever. But like, if I talk to you or if I talk to other, like my followers, it's nice to know that I'm not alone in a lot of the things I'm going through.
Well, and I think for like your mom too, like from her age, like, especially because I think like I get this with my mom. Yeah. So like my mom's in her 60s, your mom's in 70s, but I think they forgot. I think a lot. Right? I think they forget. And I hope to God we fucking forget too. Like I think that's like a gift from God that we forget the hard shit. I don't really know how that works, but we've got to, because how do you forget? Like, do you remember, I mean, think about, I know you've had C-sections, but like for me, I know when I had Cassidy, I had a vaginal delivery with her, but with that, I forgot all about that shit afterwards. Like I remember it kind of, but not really. But even the C-sections, I remember it.
My 9-year-old, I'm like,
but I don't really remember it being that bad.
Yeah. Like it's blurry. I guess you're right. Like, my mom will say things like, I'm sorry I yelled a lot, or I'm sorry I was so hard on you. And I mean, I look at my mom and I revere her. I idolize her. That woman could do no wrong. So I'm like, Mom, don't ever apologize. Like, you raised me. My dad did too, but my mom raised a badass bitch. Yeah. And she really was so hard on herself. She did the best she could. And honestly, I think we just all have to do the best we can. And there's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. And honestly, like as long as my kids go to sleep knowing that I love them, that's all that matters.
I think what's making it hard is that we're going to have good days, bad days. All of them are human days.
Human days, right?
They're all we're having human days. And I think in the past we haven't had that. I think that's what's making it so hard at this point. It's like that gap is being bridged at this point where we've had, our parents, they're born in the 50s, so 60s, like that. They came from a generation that was wildly different. Like if you think about so different, like it really is pretty phenomenal how different it is. Have you ever watched a show called The Midwife?
Oh,
obsessed with that show.
Obsessed. If anyone here is listening that has Netflix, like
watch
that
it.
Show,
so great.
First of all, I love any British like
same
television. Like I'm just like one of those. Like I grew up all British television, but that is a great series.
Yeah,
and it was just, you know, sometimes I'm like, are we too sexualized as a society? Is it too progressive? Like, where is the line? Is the line, you know, but I'm glad we are living in this day and age where I can be very open, honest with my children. And as a mother, I could give myself the grace, because I feel like my grandmother's generation, your grandmother's, and my own mother's generation, there was a lot of shame behind so many things.
Oh, complete. Well, so like, for example, if I think about both my grandparents were in their 40s when they had my mom and my dad. So
old.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. My grandma, my mom's mom, my mom was the last of 7. So it was, she got busy. My grandma got busy, but,
Granny.
but apparently, and she, probably, but she said that, I think she would get upset because some people, my aunt was 16 years older than my mom. So when they'd be out and about, some people thought, and she heard a rumor that someone had thought that it was my aunt's daughter.
Oh, mom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she wasn't, obviously. Yeah. But it was just like things like that where all that. And then my dad's mom was a cougar, for one. She was 10, 11 years older than my grandpa. And yeah, she was great. And then,
are they still living? No, of course not.
No, my grandma, my dad's mom, she was born in 1918, 1917.
Damn.
Yeah. So she was like, when I think of grandparents, like sometimes when people say like, I'm with my grandparents, and then I see like these younger grandparents, I'm like, that was not the case for me. My grandma was old. Like, I don't mean to say old in a bad way. Like, she was an old grandma. Like, I always saw her sitting down. She only wore skirts. She never wore pants. Yep. She didn't drive. Both of my grandmothers did not have licenses. They did not drive. Yep. Like, they were old school. Like, my grandma was born the year after the Titanic sank. Like if you think about that, I'm like, what the fuck? But with my dad's mom, the one that was born in 1918, before my dad was born, I think a year or two before my dad was born, she had a stillborn.
Wow.
And
there was that back then.
Oh, a lot of it. But a lot of it in terms of what made me, like, I think being a proud C-section mom, and especially because I think I look a lot like my grandma and stuff like that. Like, we've just always kind of, like, our energies have been the same from what I remember of her and just from tales and stuff. But she was in labor with this baby. Again, she was older, so she was probably in her early 40s, like probably 40 when she had this first baby. They let her go 2.5 weeks past due.
Yes.
And then they let her labor for 3 days.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, being medical, me, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, but I'm an ultrasound tech, but like, there is a reason why 40 weeks is 40 weeks, right? Like, some people can go past, but like, there's a lot of babies that died and mothers that died because there was a lot of lax with that. I mean, I'm a proud C-section mom too, because if I didn't have a C-section, Mary, my oldest son, Luke, would have died.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a life-saving procedure for both him and I.
Mm-hmm.
And, I look back and I'm like, my grandmother too, like, my grandmother had 5 kids and had miscarriages in between. That generation. And then it was like, just no, don't talk about the miscarriage. Like, you think my grandmother was like telling friends and family member, oh, I had a miscarriage? No, that was something you kept quiet. Just like periods. Like, my mom was born in 1952. She was the oldest of 5 children.
Yeah.
And an Irish Italian family, right? And she got her period. She didn't know what the fuck her period was. She thought she was dying.
Yeah.
Her mother never had you're going to get a period and this is what it is. And she went to Catholic school her whole life. So like she went to my grandmother and my grandmother's like, oh, here's these pads, which by the way, back in the day these pads had belts on them.
Oh yeah.
And she didn't know how to use anything. Like you couldn't talk about periods. Honestly, even when my grandmother was living, I couldn't even tell her that I was pregnant. I had to say expecting. Like they were so
right? You couldn't say what my
I God pregnant. Like I was Granny. I got here I am.
My dad, my grandpa. So this is my dad's dad, the one that was married to the cougar.
Oh,
he died 2 weeks after I announced that I was pregnant, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I called him and let him know and whatever. But the entire. For one, okay, so we went to his services. So he had a wake and he had a funeral, and we went to the wake, and my sister was so distraught at this. And obviously I was upset, but I surprisingly was not that upset because my grandpa, his goal, and he had said it the entire time, was I want to live till 90. And he did exactly that. And then he died, and he was so happy about it.
Amazing.
And so whatever. I think being pregnant too, there was like a circle of life type of thing happening there. So I wasn't like as upset about it because I was like, okay, well, he died. Someone's going to get born is what it is. But we're at this wake and my husband wasn't there yet. Kevin wasn't there yet. I think we came separately or something. And my dad came, and our I don't like to say family priest as in like that's ours, but it was the priest that like helped my parents through the passing of my sister and like help. He was just like the whatever. He knew us so much. So my parents reached out to him to do the services for my grandpa, considering that everyone that my grandpa knows is dead. Like they just kind of reached out to our people. Yeah. So my parents reached out to him, and he came, and he hasn't seen me since I was 5. Like he hasn't seen me in a very long time. And my dad came up to the priest and says, you remember my daughter, Mary? She's with child.
Yeah. With child.
And I was only 6 weeks pregnant.
Oh. Yeah.
And Kevin wasn't with me. So I'm like looking around and I'm like, and my husband's coming soon. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, no. Oh my God. Right. I mean, it's
like,
it's so ridiculous. Like, so I had a grandmother or a great grandmother. This is on my dad's side, Irish, right? Super Irish, lived in Ireland, had a child out of wedlock in Ireland.
Yeah.
They fucking banished her from the town in Ireland, sent her to New York City to live with her brother because she had a child. And guess who raised the child? The grandmother, right? Her mom. But it's like, could you fucking imagine that? Being like shunned from your town because you had a lustful moment she probably loved the guy.
Yeah.
Like there's so many, like, it's so silly. Like, and that's why, like, talking about sex, like even the last episode we did, like sex after kids, like, my mom's like, oh, that episode, she didn't listen. But I'm like, Mom, like, because I was like, don't you fucking listen. Don't you dare.
Yeah, don't listen.
I need my mother listening to this shit. But it's just part of me is like, I want my children to know that being human is okay, right? And a human needs sex, and there's nothing wrong with that. And as long as you're being safe and it's consensual, that's one. I mean, it's just I feel bad for like my grandmother's generation because there was a lot of women that stuck hangers in their fucking vaginas because they got pregnant out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. There was all this shame and, it's just so insane to me because thank God we live in the day and age where like, honestly.
Well, they weren't even allowed to like get on birth control. Like you just kept having kids. And I can't even imagine. And I always tell people that now in the day and age of having little kids, like if you are listening right now, and this is my biggest piece of, and I don't mean this in like a negative way. I say this from a very realistic way. If you are planning on having more than one child close in age, make sure your support system's there because if not, do not do it.
Yep.
Don't do it. I'm telling you right now, It's hard. It's hard enough, and I have support, but I don't have that much support, and I think that's what makes it a little bit harder. But I think, I think I have a lot of thoughts on that. Man, that could be a different episode of having kids close in age, because that's just
mine are pretty spread out. But I have my sister who is 16 months younger than me. She had 3 within 3.5 years, and my mom is her go-to. Like my mom and dad.
Well, see, then that might work. That might work. Again, if you have a support system, then
yeah, but I don't have
fun.
That support system.
No,
I don't. So I really truly envy the women and the families that do have the village, the so to speak, quote unquote village, right? It takes the village. Well, where the fuck is the village?
No.
Because is it something that we have to like, do smoke signals out of our fucking house? Because I need the village. And you know who my village really is? It's people like you.
Yeah.
My neighbors. I really do have a couple neighbors that are truly like my godsend, that are like, hey, bring me the boy. Especially when Bryn, my youngest, I had just had my 3rd baby almost a year ago. I had neighbors say, hey, bring me the boys. In 2 days, I'm going to work an event with a friend. And it's hard work. She's an executive producer. She needs help with a physical event. And she was like, you want to help me? And I was like, she's like, you'll get a hotel room paid for, and all the food, all your expenses are paid for. And I was like, yes. She goes, I'm letting you know it's 12-hour days. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Fuck that. Yeah.
Get out of here.
What is it?
I'm working this Bitcoin event. Shout out to Quantum Miami. I don't know much about Bitcoin. Actually, I know nothing about it. Right. It's like monopoly money to me. But it's literally when I talk about the village, this girl, this woman is my village. And she just was like, you know what? Let's hang out. Like, I love you. But to the thought of me being in a hotel room alone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. Like,
I'm fucking jealous.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
And I'm going to miss my husband. So, I mean, we've been, I've been fucking him on the regular in for this event. Cause I'm like, I'm going to be gone and I need you to take care of kids. So let me just blow you.
Oh God. You went that far.
No, not full blown blowy.
Oh shit. Okay. Well,
we did have sex in my closet the other day.
Again?
Yes. Well, we have to, because there's always a child in my bed.
Wait, but where are you going? Are you laying down?
Oh, Mary.
Or you're standing up?
I'm not gonna.
What was the status of your? What was the status of your closet? Because I know I've seen your stories.
If you are listening and follow me, you know that I'm a hot fucking mess. My house looks pristine, but my closet is last on the list, bitch. So yes, actually, there was a child in our bed. Declan, our middle child, was in the bed, and actually, my sister. Sorry, Trish, if you're listening to this, she was in the house. And we hadn't had sex. I had my period, right? My period ended. We hadn't had sex for like a week or 2. Yeah, a week and a half. I was horned up. I was like, I need something. I need to be touched and loved. And so he came out of the shower and I was like, come snuggle me, even though our child was in the bed, right?
Yeah.
Sleeping. He was sleeping. And so I'm a physical touch person. I just need to be hugged sometimes.
Yeah.
And, he took it, as men do, to the next level and like pretty much just grabbed my boobs. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, you want me to like snuggle you? And I'm like, oh my God. So, we're kind of like making out next to our kid. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing? Like, I can't even go into another bedroom, or where my sister's in the house. We have another child sleeping, the baby's sleeping. Where are we going to go? Yeah. So luckily I do have a walk-in closet. And I said, meet me in the closet, and he's like, okay. So I strip down quick, and he lays down on the pile of laundry that is, I don't know if it's dirty, clean, I don't fucking know, because like I said, my goddamn laundry is everywhere. I have piles everywhere. And I'm like, well, let me get on top. Right. So like the lights are like half on, half off. There's like a little silhouette. In my closet, there's a mirror. So like I can see myself. I'm on top and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, okay, we're not going to look at myself. No, we're not going to look. And then like, I'm trying to like get into the groove but there's laundry. All I'm looking at is like my fucking jeans that or need to be clean, my scrubs. And so I just couldn't like relax until like we moved the pile of laundry out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I'm going to segue into this. If you want to be fucked, get fucked.
I know. I haven't been wanting that lately. So I haven't been because I've just like.
You got a lot going on, Mary.
I have a lot going on.
And you have Spencer who's becoming a little boy.
Yeah. I'm like an emotional, not in the right headspace for that shit right now. That and I just came off my period, which did not help any of those situations because I become an absolute
like second period after having Haley.
No, third.
Okay,
but it's still just like it kills me. Postpartum periods are a bitch, man.
They're awful. Like,
oh god,
literally awful.
They're awful. But I'm surprised I still stand afterwards.
It's really. I had my tubes tied, so I don't know if anyone's listening, and maybe they can chime into you or me, but my periods have been god awful. And I don't know.
Someone said after their tubes got tied that it got worse.
I can't leave the house.
What does that mean when your tubes are tied? What do they do?
So basically, I had a C-section, so I was like, all right, fine. Basically they don't tie them. They really just singe off the tube. They basically, just cut it and cauterize it, and there you are. So if you
was it just like loosely floating in your body?
Yeah. So like your ovaries are a floating organ, and they can kind of wane and wax with peristalsis, which is here we are going. If anyone wants a medical lesson, but yes, they basically your ovaries are suspended by your fallopian tubes, and the fallopian tubes are the way that the sperm gets to the egg.
Yeah.
So when they basically sever that, the sperm goes nowhere, and it just kind of goes into your peritoneal space, or your pelvic space, and dies off. But your body reabsorbs it. So I don't know what happens, but like my hormones have taken a huge shift, drastically, and my periods are the heaviest they've ever been.
Yeah,
it's really weird. Really weird.
That's my life, but I haven't got my tube side.
Honestly, I regret it. I'm not lying. Yeah. I had an abnormal pregnancy between Declan and Bryn, which, made me feel like, okay, let me tie my tubes because I don't want to go through that again. But I really regret tying my tubes because in my heart, I could have had another child. I really feel like
I remember you said that the last time. Yeah.
I really just don't feel like I'm done. I really don't. I'm having a very hard time. Our baby girls are going to be 1 year old, Mary.
I know. Maybe that's why. Because I literally have been thinking about that a lot, especially because of breastfeeding coming to an end. And Kevin's like, well, maybe you're starting to like, it sucks because it might be our last baby. I was like, it might be. And I've like, I know the last time we talked, I was like, I don't know if it is. I literally keep waking up and I'm like, I cannot picture getting pregnant again because I cannot, like, I just want to stop being this tired. I'm like, I'm so ready to not be tired.
If I could blink and just have a baby, hell yeah.
Yeah. If I could go through all of that and like go through whatever and like get to this stage and not have to go through the pregnancy and the postpartum, like the fresh postpartum, I'd be down.
Let's actually dive into that because I don't think, everyone's like, oh, you'll be tired, but you'll be so in love. But that is the roughest fucking state I've done it 3 times. Like it is exhausting. And it literally is a blur. Like you don't even remember it until you're out of it. And that's how I was thinking of it today. I was like, how the fuck did we get here? When I put Haley to bed tonight, I was looking at her because she doesn't go to bed easy anymore. But I was looking at her. She's sitting in my lap. And I'm like, how the fuck did we get here? I'm so glad. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure I was just nursing her at 6 weeks, trying to figure out this whole breastfeeding thing still again for the third time. I'm like amazed. It's the hardest phase and it's the quickest phase.
Mm-hmm.
Before you're out of it and you're celebrating your baby's first birthday. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I think back, there was a moment of postpartum with Bryn and I was crying I was literally crying from exhaustion.
Yeah.
Because that type of exhaustion, you can't even try to warn people about. You can't explain it enough to the point where like, you just can't, you have to experience it. It is the most exhausted you'll ever be, but yes, in a blissful way, but it's hard, man. It's fucking hard.
Oh yeah.
All of it's hard, right? All of it's hard.
All of it's hard. I'm like so ready for like, that's probably one of the most intimidating things about motherhood to me is that it's going to be forever. It's forever.
Well,
and that sometimes it gets in my head where I'm like, there will never be a day until the day I die.
Yep. And even
I'm not worried. Yeah. The day I die, I'll probably be on my deathbed being like stressed out that I'm like, like, bye. I don't want to leave. Like, oh, like that literally stresses me out sometimes. Like we're getting a bigger conversation here. We're going to have to split this shit up. I'm going to have to split this up amongst podcast episodes. But I literally have days where I drive and I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be a day that I die and I'm not going to see my kids live the rest of their lives. And that breaks my heart.
And actually, Mary, same. It's a weird, my mom would always tell me this, she always said this to me later on life, but she still says it. She tells me the hardest part of motherhood that no one prepares you for is letting your children go.
Yeah.
Because we are in the thick of it right now. Like us, right? We're in the thick of it. But eventually our children will grow up and form their own lives and their own families. And we will leave and they will have to go on. And honestly, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Oh yeah. It fucking it doesn't terrify me. It like makes me sad.
Me
that
too.
I'm like, I get to miss out on all of that.
On so much, right?
Yeah. There's so much that I won't be able to see them become grandparents. And I'm like, that's so sad to me. I'm like, that sucks a little bit. Unless they have babies really fucking early in life, then yeah. But most likely probably not. Like there's just certain things. And Cassidy the other day did you see my stories where she sprung this whole death?
Yes.
Talk about death.
Yep.
And she went on this whole tirade.
Listen, she is going to do things with her life. I feel like she's
a
assertive child.
Yeah, she's definitely going to go somewhere. I'm so curious. I cannot wait to watch and see what my kids do. But
what's she going to be?
She, yeah, well, and I can go into a different conversation. But with her, like she went into this whole tirade on like death and stuff. And she was like, I miss you. That'd be so sad. And I'm like, well, we'll see each other again. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, let's not go into this right now. I'm like, I can't even talk about this. But the side conversation I was going to say was with Cassidy and I was talking to Kev about this and I was like, I think the biggest thing, and I was telling Kev, I was like, the biggest thing that you and I need to work on right now with all of our kids, especially our daughters, is making sure that their confidence, going back to confidence, is there, because I literally think confidence boils down to all life choices. All life choices. Every single little thing. Because if I can think about certain people in our lives, aka some family members of ours who've had a rough go, like I think about their confidence is shit. And because of that, they've chosen bad things in order to, there's a reason why you date shitty men. It's because your confidence isn't there. There's a reason why you take drugs. It's because you're trying to numb something because your confidence isn't there. It's all boils down to something. So I'm like, wait, that's what we need to build up. If we're going to focus on anything, we need to build that shit up in them.
I will be honest. My mother really raised three. She raised three amazing humans, but us girls, she really, she didn't have the confidence, right?
Yeah.
As a child and even as a young adolescent and even in her 20s, she raised us really confident and not cocky confident. There's a difference. Knowing your worth is something that I feel like it's a journey. It's such a journey, right? We put up with shit. And I feel like with each milestone of learning and growing, you learn what you will and will not put up with each milestone. But confidence is a thing that it's acquired, But if you have the tools to give your children that confidence, do it.
Yeah.
Give them that. Let them know that they are badass, that they can rule the world. Because I am a confident person. I've always have been. And there's always someone that wants to make me feel little.
Yeah.
And I have to remember, I am who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
And I'll never kowtow to others' opinions. I have in the past. Now, if someone tells me I'm a shitty mother, nope, I am not. I'm a great mom. So you don't do the laundry all the time. You're a shitty wife. No, I'm not. I'm a confident person. And I really hope that my children will know that they will be confident, or they can be confident with our support.
Yeah.
It's our support.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
No.
It really is.
Fucking looking at your hair. So fun.
Stop. I know. Look at this. I feel like
such bullshit. You could create a wig out of that. You could create 10 wigs out of that shit.
The amount of hair I have is actually criminal. I wish I could but all the hair here means I have all the hair everywhere else. But I have red hair, Mary. Like
curtain match the drapes.
It does. So I can't really get like laser hair. Oh, I get that all the time. And I have 2 ginger babies.
What is that? What the fuck kind of question is that? That's so messed up.
Oh, I got that all the time. Like, you got fire pubes? Sure.
Yeah, but that only comes out of ginger. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
All the time. I mean, Bryn is a ginger, and so is Luke.
Wait, but you're like strawberry blonde. Are you the ginger? Are you the one bringing the ginger in?
Yes, it's me.
Okay.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. So in order to get children that are redheads, it has to be on both sides. So it has to be a recessive trait on both sides.
Both sides, yep.
So my mother-in-law, she probably is a little bit of like an auburn. And Keith, my husband, has 2 cousins that are like really, really, really like fire engine red.
Yeah.
My sister and I are both like redheads. So it has to be on both sides.
Interesting.
I'm actually, have you checked your Instagram? My Instagram's blowing up with sex confessions.
Oh no.
I know anyone's listening.
I don't have them on mine. I can look at my stuff, but you have to go through yours actually, because I'm curious to see what.
Well, because Mary's the one that does this monthly. People look forward to it. Personally, I'm a fan of it. I love it. I literally think it's great that you're doing this. One person says, I'm part of the Mile High Club.
Oh,
how?
Yeah, I don't know how you achieve that, sucker. I have no desire to. Well, one, I have fears of flying on planes, so that's not fucking happening.
Think about is like getting fucked. Yeah, no.
Maybe that's what I should do.
Right? I mean,
no, fuck that. No, I have no desire to do that. Nope.
Let's see. Sex after 40, less insecurities and no shame in asking what I want. I fucking love that. Yes.
All right.
Hell yes. Another one. Let's see. Spicy. And we've talked about this in our last podcast. My husband and I had a threesome with my best friend, and she told everyone.
Why? Why would she do that?
So much. Yeah, no, like you gotta like
that's what you got a tight lip there, everyone.
You've got to, right? I mean, you know how I feel about threesomes if you're in a
no.
I don't know. You want
to be careful.
Listen, if you're single, have as many threesomes as you want. But I mean, personally, it's just not.
You gotta have that shit locked down if you're gonna do it. I know. There's like 2 couples that have reached out to me on Instagram that said that they've had threesomes and it's made or like more, like they do like orgies, they do like big ass things. They say it made their relationship stronger, but
I listened to a TikTok or whatever it was the other day about how monogamy is phasing out. Yeah. And that this generation really wants to be more open love, and not monogamous or whatever. And I don't know, like I'm really a one woman type of man, one man. What am I trying to say? I couldn't share my husband. I just couldn't. I would feel weird if I saw him having sex with someone else.
I would not like it. No.
I
wouldn't do well with that.
No. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm giving an alternative perspective on threesomes. I've had successful ones with my husband and a friend. So this is another follower
Saying that she's had good ones. Okay.
who's had good ones.
All right.
Yeah, like, I mean, listen, to each his own. I feel like you have to
that would,
relationship, right? Like
that would not be mine. That would not be.
no, it's not mine either. Like it's just, I don't know. I mean, you're opening Pandora's box when you bring other people into your bed.
Yeah.
Because
I see Kev. I don't think Kev would ever be into that with me. Like if I went to him and said, I'll just go upstairs and ask him later. Like, hey, you want to have a threesome with someone? He would be like, no. I don't think he'd be into it, but I don't think if we did, I feel like if it was something like I brought on, like if I wanted to hook up with a girl,
yeah,
I think he would go along with it, but I don't think he'd be into it.
Well, like, you know,
I have no desire. That literally,
I want to have sex with a girl in front of you. I don't know what he'd say. I wish I could pull him in right now and ask him on camera.
Go ask him. Go text him.
He will fucking die.
He won't answer on this because I know I've seen him enough on your stories. I know him. Like, I've seen him enough on your stories. He won't answer. You would have to text him.
He is not an impulsive human, right? Like, which I love about him because I am impulsive. He's a heavy thinker, very deep thinker.
Text him. Does he have his phone right now?
Yeah, he's probably, you know, I bought him fucking this Xbox series, whatever, for Christmas. And he's obsessed with this Xbox. Hence why I was like, you need to have sex with me in this closet because the Xbox is getting more love than I am.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm going to text him right now. Would you have a threesome with me?
Would you have a threesome with me with another woman?
Yeah.
Just be down to watch. Like, well, I can't wait to hear what his answer is. Oh, geez. There we go.
Oh, look. I'm on. So funny. Would you have a threesome with me with another woman? Let's see what he says. He's probably like, what the fucking shit? And then I have to tell him this. So our children, our 9-year-old, he says no. That's a hard no. He said it. No.
Just no. Okay.
I knew this.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Now, what if he said yes?
That would be weird. Honestly, like we have a good. I've told you this. Like we have a.
Yeah, you have a good sex life. Yeah.
If he's ever feeling like inadequate in that, I mean, I would be like, you know, go. Let's talk about this because honestly, like, sex is vital in marriage, in a relationship, and I don't know. Like, I'm not going to knock people that invite others into their into their bed with their husbands or significant others. Like, I just feel like it's not me. It's not something I would do.
No.
Have I done them before? Yes.
No.
But it's not something that I would welcome into my marriage just because I feel like our sex life is sacred and we enjoy each other and it should be between him and I. But threesomes are fun if you are open for that. I am not open for that.
I could see it being fun to flirt with someone, but not do it. Like, I see that being more fun. Like, if you're out, you're drunk, then that's fun.
I don't know.
Then
like,
that's fun.
If like, there's plenty of, I have friends that like their husbands are like, hey, like, let's find a girl and we'll both tag, let's have a I don't know if Keith was like, I don't know. I would feel like am I not enough?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that if that idea was put in my head. But if you guys were out and like drinking and some chick started flirting with you or some guy started flirting with you.
I mean, he is a very confident, going back to confidence, he's a very confident person. Like confident in our relationship. Yeah. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. I mean, listen, it's for me. I wouldn't do it. Others, good for you. Good for fucking you.
I have no desire. That literally, I don't even have desire to right now have sex with him. So it's fine. I have nothing right now in this
overstimulation, being touched every day, all day. We have little ones.
And he's sexy as fuck, so that's the problem. But he will come up to me. He'll do this. So he likes to recently
Kevin's
his new thing.
hilarious. First of all, we need more podcasts with Kev.
I know. I need to get him.
Podcast with Kev, Bird, and us.
We should.
You know,
they would be awful. They'd be awful because Kev and Bird are probably would be the same, where they'd be super serious and and you and I would be like.
And this is why when people say opposites attract, it's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
You cannot. And like, listen, I've dated men that are very like life of the party, gregarious. It doesn't work. Like,
No.
I'm better off with someone that's a wallflower. Keith is great. He's quiet, intellectual, but like lets me be who I am. But yeah, he would be pretty boring on a podcast.
Well, so that's why I haven't done the coffee chats with Kevin in a while. He's not boring per se. He's so.
Yeah, it's very like.
He's so dry. He's not dry. He's just like so question answer.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm like, okay, fucking.
Well, I mean, men in
come
general,
on, man.
they don't even have a gray area. They're very black and white.
That's what he is. And I'm like, come on, like, let's go, man. I don't think necessarily in gray. I think in like rainbows, but come on, man. Like, let's go.
I love it.
Let's spice this shit up, dude. But all right, let's look at a few of these.
All right. I know, because I only had 4 or 5 people submit. I get it. Like, people are a little weirded out by
You're gonna have to prime your audience for this. Let's see. When did I do these? A while ago. Sex confessions. Let's see.
Sex confessions are fun because I look forward to when you do them because they're the submissions you get are outlandish.
They're always wild. And sometimes I feel like people, I told you, I think some people are like, I don't like them. The last time we had our chat, people were like, that didn't happen this time. I think I told them like, don't just fucking skip past. But sometimes I always try on the days that I do it. I don't show my kids. I just try my hardest. Like, nothing is going to involve my kids on that because I do not want any intermingling of sex talk with my kids. So I'm like, okay, that's going to just be side point. But I try my hardest. And I think some people like, because I am a mom account, they're like, wait, why are you doing this? I'm like, because I'm not just a mom account. I'm not here for like showcasing my kids. I'm just Mary. I'm a Mary account who also happens to be a mom. So this is just something that I enjoy.
Moms. And let me just explain this. Whoever's listening, you are not just a mom. No. The person you were before your children is still there. You are not just a mother. Being a mother is amazing. And yes, it's very important, but nourish the person that still lives inside you that is not the mom. I have a big part of me that's not Mom Katie. And there's a big part of you that's not Mom Mary. Like, it's important, like, because mothers are put on this pedestal as like, we can't talk about sex and we can't talk about these and you're just a mom. No, fuck that shit. Like, listen, I want to talk about stuff that's not children or kid related, or I want to go and, have a few drinks with my husband without my children, or go have a night away with girlfriends and be shit-faced. Like, you're allowed to do those things.
Yeah.
Being a mother doesn't mean you have to stop your life.
No, at first one, it's like, no sex confession. I just realized how vanilla I am reading all these.
Vanilla's still fun. Fine.
When I was breastfeeding, my husband took a handful while I was on top and squirted it in his face.
That's amazing.
Great. Kev has never done that. We have no interest. I don't even want him to touch my boobs. That's the difference. Like, again, touched out. Like, I don't want any, just get in, get out, man. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's see. I have to translate these emojis. Gave a hand job to my crush, no bigger than your thumb. Oh, that was a big theme on the last sex confessions. Micro penises.
Really?
Yes. A lot of people encountered micro penises. Have you ever encountered a micro penis?
Yes, I have.
But what's a micro penis though? Like there's actually a technical, like a scientific medical term.
Yes. Being medical, and I've done plenty of ultrasounds on testicles. There are people that literally do have micro penises. They look like little baby thumbs. They really do. Yeah.
But what's that? We have to go into all this, but like, what's that?
A lot of these men, I think they have like erectile dysfunction. So they really can't like get erect, like fully erect. But I've experienced one in my life, and it was weird. Very.
Can they grow? Like, what happens if they get erect?
No. I don't know. It's weird.
No?
Like, this guy was like 6'4", and I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna hurt me. And then it was like, no.
Interesting.
Yeah, micropenis.
I heard that about some guy that, like, I don't want to mention names. I won't mention specifics.
Don't mention names.
This guy. This guy was so attractive. We knew him from college. He was so attractive, like so fucking cute, like so cute. Oh my gosh, I can still picture his face. He was so cute. And one of my friends ended up hooking up with him. And she reported back. She said he same thing. He was like 6'4", but built, but not in like an obnoxious way. Like he was like, you could tell that he came from like farmland. Like you could tell he was lifting some stuff. Nothing, she said.
What a travesty, honestly.
I was like, what? But like, it wasn't like nothing as in like just small, like it was like nothing. And I was like, what the fuck? I've never encountered that. I've encountered a wiener that I did not like, but I've never encountered that.
Wieners in general are pretty ugly.
I know, but there was a guy I dated in college who I swear.
Oh, my so-and-so has like my boyfriend has the most beautiful penis. And I'm like, I've never actually seen a beautiful penis before. Like, what is a beautiful penis?
I think they exist.
Like,
but
I've never idolized penises. So like, what?
I've never either. They all scare me, to be honest. Like when Kev comes out of the bathroom while he's getting ready for bed naked, I'm like, whoa, like, he put some fucking pants on. But you know what was funny? Actually, that's the funny story. Cassidy, the other day, we were talking. She brought up the word penis for some reason. She said, she's all been penises lately. She's finally figuring out anatomy, and she said,
yep.
Spencer is a penis. I'm like, yes. Yeah. She said, Daddy has a penis. And I'm like, yes. She said, Pop has a penis. I'm like, oh, fuck, yes. She goes through the list. And then she's like, Daddy has a brown penis. And I'm like, I stopped for a second. I'm like, who is your daddy? Like, who? What? I'm like, I don't think so, but let's go with it.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I just had all my cousins here for the weekend, and we talked a lot about dicks and purple-headed yogurt slingers was like a big thing.
What? What's a yogurt slinger?
Mary, purple-headed yogurt slingers.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Sorry, I only heard the end of it.
And they're younger than me.
So Lord.
One of them, a few of them are still dating. So like for me, like I'm living vicariously through them. But then like being around them, like, reminds me of my heyday where I'm like, you know what? I sold my wild oats. Like I'm good. I did it all. I have no regrets.
Yeah.
I am very solid in my marriage because I did everything. You name it, I've done it. And there's no regrets. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'd still much rather look at a naked female than a penis. That's just my personal opinion. Because penises are weird. Like you said, like sometimes I'm like, and I have two boys. I'm like, oh God, one day you're gonna be men. Gross.
I know.
It's weird. It's fucking weird. So weird.
Oh,
Mary.
Yeah, well, that's our future awaiting us.
Let's see.
Dislocated my jaw giving head.
How long was that person giving head for? Jesus, Mary.
No, that sounds awful. Curious about swinging, but I'm scared because I'm married.
Don't do it, girlfriend. Unless you have a rock solid relationship.
If it's been a minute since we've had sex, I cry like bawling my eyes out after I orgasm.
I've heard of this.
I have heard too. So a lot of women have told me that they cry like a ton, and it's an oxytocin release. It's got to be oxytocin.
It has to be. It has.
Did you see my stories? I talked about this the other day with breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I literally think that there's got to be. I'm starting to realize that, but that's oxytocin at the same time. I haven't cried or anything, but oxytocin's fucking wild. Like, I don't think I realized it until
it's your body getting high off of hormones.
Yeah, it's weird.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, there are women that like will breastfeed until their children are 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's fucking never happening here, but
same.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be some, like, I didn't breastfeed long enough to ever experience what you're experiencing, but I'm sure that it's a hormonal shift that's happening. And it's this joyful, euphoric moment for you guys.
But then on the opposite, there's people that have, it's called like DSMR or something, like, I think it's like whatever. It's a complete opposite, where they feel like waves of depression and sadness and anger while they're breastfeeding. It's like the wildest things how that shit happens.
I would resonate more with that side of breastfeeding. Like, for me, it was like traumatic. It was very hard. Yeah.
I don't doubt it. This shit's hard.
It's hard. It's very hard.
Cannot wait to be done. I'm hoping to be done, although I have a feeling I'm not, considering she's going gung ho. I want to go get my Botox next week, or not on the.
Get it. There's nothing that. I mean, it's an injection to the area, so it's a local injection. Yes,
I know.
Honestly, you look good.
No, I don't.
I mean, my Botox is starting to wear off a little bit. I gotta go.
You look fabulous. I want this.
I live in Boca Raton, Florida.
Girl, so I know. I want this. You get stuff underneath your eyes, don't you?
Yes, I do. I don't do filler. I do what's something called Easy Gel PRF, where they take my blood. She takes my blood, she spins it, then she puts it in a cooler, then she puts it in a heater, and it creates this gelatinous formation but it's my actual blood.
Yeah, interesting.
But I'm not opposed to filler. Like, I had filler in my lips a few times. I haven't done it in years. I actually probably need it dissolved and then refilled. But I'm looking into getting my breast implants redone, and then looking into a tummy tuck. Like, I feel like you have to do what makes you happy.
No.
And honestly,
I just feel run down. Like, I look at myself in this and I'm like, oh my God, I look so run down.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm ready to, like, that's where with like the whole baby talk of like having another baby, I'm like, I would love another baby, in that I cannot imagine saying like, hey, I'm done, but I'm so ready to not be this right now. Like, I'm so ready to just like feel more awake.
Yeah.
And like, just figure this shit out, because I'm tired. That, and I can't imagine having another baby, considering I cannot fucking find time for myself right now. Like, I'm trying to work out. I'm doing this whole like workout challenge thing.
You're doing like, I that's amazing. Like, seriously, it's amazing.
Yeah, except I haven't done it because I have no fucking time to work out.
Yeah, even like 15 minutes. Like, I mean, some of those workouts, like I did.
No, they're amazing. Their workouts that she has are incredible, but they're so short. And for some reason lately, I'm like, I don't even have that time, because that time needs to go towards something else, where I'm like,
rest.
So
that's why we all have to give ourselves grace.
I know.
I had a sick body before kids, but you know what? I gave my body to 3 children. Well, technically 4, because, I had that pregnancy in between. But my body has changed. Our bodies change after children. And the small few percentage of women that go back to what they did look like before children, like, good for you. But that's not the majority.
Yeah.
It really isn't. So, I'm accepting. And I really, after Declan, I really was like struggled with body image, but now I'm like, this is who I am. I'm a good person. My kids are loved. I'm loved. It is what it is. Skinny, fat, whatever. do you feel good about yourself?
You look fabulous in clothes. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, who the fuck's seeing me naked anyway?
Yeah.
And who is seeing me naked likes it. So who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've never been denied from my husband.
Yeah.
I literally have been like, you want to do me right now? He's like, I want to do you every day. I'm like, okay. Doesn't matter. Men, they're just physical humans. Like, they just want to put it in a hole, you know?
Stick it right on in.
Stick it right, slip it right, give me that dick and slip it right in.
That should be another conversation we have one day. Is like, what would you do with a dick for a day? We'll save that for another day. I'm going to write down a bunch of ideas.
Please write them down because I already can tell you what I would do with my dick. If I had one.
If I had a dick for a day.
What would you do? Actually, what would you need to ask followers?
I think I have once a long time ago. And some people were like, ew. And I'm like, no, but seriously, think about it. If all of a sudden you were granted a dick for a day, I should ask the alternative to guys because I do have a few guys following me. What would you do for a vagina for a day?
I have men following me. I'm like, why are you following me? But okay.
I do. I don't have too many, but I have dads that follow me because of that. And like I had one today that were so sweet. And they're like, you do a really great job at doing content for both moms and dads. And they're like, I just want you to know that I appreciate that. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. Because I hope so. Like, I hope I'm not just all mommy focused.
Exactly. But, I mean, it's hard. Sometimes
it's hard. It's my life. Like it's my life. But I have dads, like I have a stay-at-home dad accounts that follow me and stuff. And because of that, I've actually like started to try and be better.
When you did I love the podcast with him. He was great. Honestly, like good for him. Like I know plenty of people that men that are stay-at-home dads, like their wives are the breadwinners, you know, good for them.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. Well, I'm going to try not to yawn. That way I don't make you tired. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up because you guys are probably sick and tired of us hearing. But you're going to hear about more of Katie every month.
Listen, Katie's Corner is ready and willing.
We have a lot of good shit coming your way too because we're going to talk. Katie, for one, is incredible, but we're going to talk what we do for a dick with the dick for a day. But we're also going to talk like real shit like you heard today. Like, I think it's just Katie has experiences that I think she can dive into. And then we're just going to keep chatting like friends are. And that's exactly what I want you to feel when you're here is.
Yeah. Like the biggest thing is like, come here. There's no judgment ever. No. You're an incredible person, incredible mother, incredible wife, whatever. You are amazing. If you're listening, don't ever doubt yourself. And Mary and I are always here for you guys. Always.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, thank you for having me, Mary. You are amazing.
Always.
And good moms say bad words is the fucking truth. We're both wearing sweatshirts from a local mom small business in my area. Mine says over caffeinated and Mary says good mom say bad words. So thank you, Cole, from Willow and Lily for letting us support your merch. So that's pretty cool.
I'll put the link for that in the podcast show notes because she's incredible.
Yeah.
She's incredible. Her stuff is so cute too.
Okay. I just ordered something today that says overstimulated moms club. And I'm like, purchase, give me that because I
have that. I'm getting that same thing too.
Oh, see, look at that.
Yeah,
look at this, Mary.
The other day, I texted her a picture of it because I saw it on like my ads, and it was the Overstimulated Moms Club, and I said, "Hey, can you make this?" And she said, "I said I'd rather buy it from you than from like this big shop that I was seeing."
Yeah,
and she's like, "Absolutely." So I think she told me that she was planning on working on it. I was like, "Yes,
perfect, great." So she has so.
Yeah, it's basically
thank you, Mary. I am excited for our future podcasts. You are
me too.
The fresh air always. You're incredible. What you're doing is life changing for so many women, and I'm just happy to know you.
Amen. Thank you.
Another episode down and way more to go. But thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support this podcast, I would love for you to subscribe. I'd love for you to share it with others and post about it on your own social media or leave a rating and review. I cannot tell you how helpful and how appreciated those things are for me. Of course, to catch all the latest from me, you can follow me over on Instagram at The Very Merry Life, over on TikTok, The Very Merry Life. And even if you wanted to check out my monthly newsletter, you can do so by subscribing over at theverymerrylife.com. I'll see you next week. Stay tuned for more honest, raw, real chit chat. I have some amazing moms lined up coming on, and shit's going to get fun. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be good.